I have no idea what to say. I haven't got like a
Preamble.
muse
I don't think
bit
I
or
need
anything like that. I don't think we do either. I think we pick it up. It's the next morning, isn't it? And Dr. Funicular Jungfrau and his estranged ex-wife of, I'm assuming, many centuries, but please correct me if I'm wrong there, Wilkie Glutton, are a day into the quest, really, to recover some diamonds in the 10 days period allotted to them before gentle repose expires on their son, Lorkin, and he forever passes to the land of shade, from which travellers and return and things like that. How do you greet each other this morning? Is there some kind of thawing in your relationship? You've had a very intense kind of 24 hours or 31 hours, because I am keeping exact records of how long it's been. And so, how do you greet each other this morning, please?
I think I'm doing some sort of morning yoga Tai Chi thing. Funicular is there in a glade, doing that, basically warming up, because he's trying to stay young, and this, whatever exercise he's doing, is definitely some sort of fad. It's the equivalent of going to a spinning class, and he's there doing that.
How about Wilkie?
I think she wakes up and sees him doing this ridiculous bendy exercise thing. And I think he's probably got a weird breathing kind of thing that goes with it. And I think there was a moment last night where she saw the man she fell for all those years ago. And when she wakes up and sees him do this ridiculous thing, she is back to being kind of hostile and frosty. Like the ice freezes over, the lake freezes over instantly when she sees him do this ridiculous thing, because she's now reminded of why she left him in the first place. And so we're back, not quite square one, but maybe square 1.5.
Dr. Funicular, are we rolling live dice today?
We are. I forgot for a moment.
That's okay. I would actually like you to make me not an acrobatics, but a performance check, if you could. I want to see. I'm more interested in the grace of this rather than the effectiveness.
Let me just check my modifiers.
Sure.
Okay. First roll of the night.
32.
Ooh, dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Yeah, see, well, I mean, Wilkie must have really pissed you off yesterday to not be slightly impressed, because, this yoga routine is someone who's not unfamiliar to this, and there is a weird late middle-aged man grace about it, I would say.
I totally understand why that would piss her off, though.
Yes, it's a bit of resentment and jealousy, perhaps, because he's still in shape, and she kind of blearily wakes up and he's like already up and springing about like a lemming. She's like, her bones are cold. She's just a bit.
And I think, and I'd say there's something in this, though, which actually is not about showing off to Wilkie. It's slightly about, and I think partly the reason he does a good job of it is because it's actually sort of fundamental to kind of what he believes. Just as with his son, he is like, no, he's coming back, and with the weapons that he works with, he's like, no, they will be renewed and they will find their purpose again. He believes that he can stay young, that he's not past it as an elf or entering into the twilight years of whatever, he's still young. There's still purpose. There's still life and energy, and the movements that he takes all feed into that. And I think they bring him to starting the day in an optimistic mood. You know, I don't think he and whatever, and also all brings himself slightly back to himself and back to the notion of like, okay, I'm on a quest. We're doing this. And I think just like you said, Cole, about your lake kind of freezing over, I think it's similar for him in that, okay, last night when it was dark and we were emotional and processing what happened, we slipped back into old routines. But now in the morning, it's like breaking that routine again and going, no, we are two separate people. We moved on and we've got a job to do. And I think there's a bit of that coming into the second day.
And so, morning creeps up on you. The light is soft, is tender, almost autumnal, I suppose. There's mists still kind of creeping around on the forest base, and the sound of bird and very little beasts scurrying around. Kind of, you're met by nothing other than pleasant sounds at this point. I think, you know, as so far as possible, and we'll see how it plays out, I'd like to do the next kind of couple of days a little bit more as a montage. And so, just one question is on the wagon. We said it was a goat-drawn wagon, correct?
Giant goat,
right?
Yeah.
Is your son covered or uncovered?
Covered.
Covered. Okay. And he was covered through the night? Did you uncover him? Because you had that kind of...
I think we had some time.
That's family meal, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume that you uncovered him then.
Yep.
Yeah. But he's shrouded all of the majority of the time, I think.
Okay. Fine. For your own information, you are down to like your best approximation. And again, I'm going to say you've got some kind of like quite crudely drawn map. You've got, you know, a decent sense of direction. Like I say, it's quite apparent where you're going because the mountain range is on the horizon, and it's just essentially aim for that as good as possible. But you're around about 139 miles left to travel. And
how much did we travel on the first day?
On the first day, you did pretty well. You travel, let me check my notes, 26 miles, which is a little bit under optimum. You're moving at a fast pace. I think it was Dr. Funicular who has some kind of rudimentary understanding of the Forest of Forgotten Battles, and kind of suggested, look, this is somewhere where we can kind of make a bit of ground up. It's fairly straightforward, and there is a fairly well trodden path as well through this bit. So again, you've got 139 miles to go. You're down to about 208 hours of the 10 days worth of hours. Water's not going to be a problem because you saw your way through that. And you've got 4 portions of food by my reckoning. So you lead on, you lead out, and we're going to have, firstly, actually, if you can get the map up, which is under images, and it's the Forest of Forgotten Battles, you should be able to see it. Tell me if you can't.
I'm there.
Yep. Amazing.
Good.
Can you just see if you can move your icons?
No. Yes, I can move it, but I need you to. Okay.
How do I? Not super sure I know how to, other than pressing the green button. But we'll try and figure that out as we go.
The scale doesn't seem to be quite right either.
Does not? I make them too big or too small?
Like 1 square is 15.
Oh, so it is. Well, we'll sort that one out. All right. You have 8 hours of travel ahead of you. Again, the first thing I have to ask is what is your travel pace? And if you need me to go through like the benefits,
I think we continue with a fast pace.
Go with a fast pace. All right, fast pace it is. I would then like one of you, if you can go on to, or if I get tables up, is it make perception check? Can you see that?
Yep.
All
I mean,
right.
I can, but I just pulled it up.
Oh, okay. Well, who is making the perception check for the day, please?
Well, babe, you know, you did it yesterday, so do you want me to try today, or you happy with that being your role?
Oh, yes, babe. Why don't you lead the way?
Fine. I don't want it to seem like I'm, giving you a box that you have to stay in. But equally, if it's something that you enjoy doing, then go ahead.
Why don't you navigate the path?
Right,
But if you
I'll
call
do it.
me babe again, I will turn into a bear and tear your head off.
Excellent. You know how I love it.
Do it.
Okay, I'll roll. I'll roll. That is 17.
17. Very, very nice. Like I don't know, maybe it was the morning yoga, but you just feel attuned to
It's
all
definitely
aspects
spite.
of nature.
It's a bit of spite here as well.
And spite.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's a bit of, okay then, watch this going on.
So not only do you travel the expected distance, unlike your ex-wife, you do an additional D6 worth of mileage. So if you could roll that D6 for me and tell me what you did.
It's going to be a 1 though.
Well,
see.
you know. It is a 1. So you just manifested that, didn't you? Well, it's still. Look, I mean, I'm assuming you two are keeping score with this kind of stuff, but you just took 31 miles, which is very, very impressive. And they essentially, and Dr. Funicular, I do feel this is due to your, dare I say, superior levels of perception and prowess, perhaps. The day passes without incident at all. 31 miles covered.
I think there's a part of it which is that he's busy enough that they don't converse anywhere near as much as they did on day 1. And so they actually just quite purposefully get on with it.
Yeah.
And I also think the navigation probably just isn't that complicated. And so he doesn't have to try that hard to just crack on. And so maybe, and you talked, didn't you, before about how actually some of the bearings of the heavens and the sky and those things is actually not quite right for Wilkie. So she hasn't got her usual thing, but he's a bit more of an improviser. So for him, they just kind of get on, crack on,
Charlatan's another word for it, but that's fine.
You got lucky. You got lucky.
So again, the day passed without incident. You make good distance, and it's time, kind of like the sun's not getting that low, but after 8 hours of travel with both goat and corpse, it like that'll pretty much do it. Do you feel like pushing on a little bit here, or like how you're feeling? Are you eager to make up the mileage now?
I think we'd want to try and get to the river.
Yeah, I think it's easier here, isn't it? Game terms, meta game. We could push on, I think.
Right. Okay. So for every hour's additional travel, you have to both give me a constitution check. So if you could, you agreed you're going to push on for an hour?
Yeah.
You still at fast pace?
Yeah.
Lovely. All right.
Would
you
we
can
have
make
any
it.
sense of how much further it is to the river?
Make a. You tell me a history or a nature. I would assume, but I'm willing to listen to something else.
Well, I mean, do we have any?
You've
I mean,
got
I
a
don't have a
fairly.
familiar, but I don't know if Wilkie can do anything like
I
turn
can do
into
nature.
a bird or speak to a bird or
Yeah,
any
I can do
kind of
nature.
connection with nature that would be like a sense, allow us to get a bit of a bird's eye view or a bit of a sense of the landscape that way.
I think Wilkie can do nature. I think she's academic. She's a druid, so she's an academic druid. She's studied in nature, so she might not be experienced in being in it, but she recognizes the kind of biome she's in, so she could probably tell how far from a river we are by, I don't know, fucking moss on the tree or some shit, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna say nature.
Take a nature
It's your
roll.
own nature. Can
Which
I
roll then?
also can I also say that I'm gonna roll? Can I also cast guidance on myself as well? Add D4 to the roll.
Sure. Don't forget, I did give you both inspiration at the start of
I'm
your.
going to use that as well. Yeah.
You rolled that badly, hey?
27.
Oh, okay. by that badly, I mean, Jesus fucking Christ! Right? No, I think it is the moss. I think the absolute. It's kind of the types of moss and the kind of fecundity of it. And as you travel, it's almost like little milestones that you can actually that you can read moss as clearly as travelers read milestones. Also, there are actual milestones on this path as well, and one of them says 2 days to the river, but it's covered in the most kind of particular moss that you've ever seen. And you actually, I think you with a 27, I think you would change that milestone to 2.2 days because you can tell with far more precision just how far you are away. So you're still probably a couple of days travel away from the river.
Cool.
So my next question is, do you push on for another hour, try and make, the sun's low in the sky, but you've still got a couple hours of daylight, probably.
Maybe we try and make up the 0.2.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. You are tired. You are tired. It's been a long day, but both of you are now, I think the first day there's a lot going on. You got there quickly. Your son's died. You haven't seen each other in centuries, but now you're just kind of getting into a rhythm of almost like machine-like regularity. And so you push on. Could you both make me, and I have to look up the rules for exhaustion now, but I'm pretty sure it's make me a constitution check, and it's a 10 to beat. Tell me what you got.
I'm interested to see what Wilkie rolls.
Okay, so for Constitution,
Mm.
I rolled a 7 plus my modifier, which is 2, which is 9, and I've used my inspiration, which is a further 2, which is 11.
Hey.
I rolled a natural 1. I mean, I've got some things I could do on top of it, but you've got to respect a 1.
Yeah, you've got to respect the 1. Okay. You tell me, but I like to think it's Funicular that's trying to push on for another hour.
I think he overdid it in the morning.
Yeah. And so as the hour passes, Wilkie's like, let's go again. We can push on again. Absolutely. But Funicular, I think you're kind of done. Funicular, you have 1 level of exhaustion, which means until you have had a long rest, that you have disadvantage on all ability checks. Okay. I'll ask the question. Do you make your 4 miles though? But also, could you make me another perception check? Just to see,
I think it's still funicular though, isn't it?
go with it.
I cast guidance on you because I see you're getting tired. I'm like,
No. So roll me a perception. I'll see.
14.
14.
Oh no, hang on. Wait. You cast guidance.
Oh, okay. You need a 2 or better.
17.
17. I tell you what, I'll give you an extra mile for that. For a 17, again, the road is very straightforward, but on a 17, you get an extra mile. So you can knock off a further 5 miles.
He's sleepwalking.
He's
actually sleepwalking. He's completely asleep. He's just kind of ticking over, just like this.
You have a bit of an advantage here against exhaustion because it only takes you 4 hours for a long rest, isn't it? Okay, that's fine. I'm assuming you make camp then.
I think he walks into a tree eventually. Like I think he's like actually walking on his feet like this, and then eventually he just sort of walks into the ground. You know, his legs just sort of give way, and he slumps onto the ground for a bit. But I think he's absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, he's done. He's done for the day. So you're now in the kind of second part of the day, whereas it's still a little early to go down for the night, although I think Nicholas maybe would argue differently. But you need your meal, you need to drink your water, you need to take stock of the day. Are you going gathering for Nicola, or are you just going to use some of your...
I think he's going to sleep first. I think he's just going to hit some sleep. And then he might be nocturnal. Like, I think he might go get some food and some drink after his 4 hours.
Fair enough. So you're just out for 4 hours then, yeah?
Yeah.
Fine. In that time, Wilkie, what are you doing? I'd say 4 hours will take us past sunset and to the point where the kind of first stars can be seen.
So did we establish you were going to go get food later, or do you want me to go get that now? I think I would go foraging while you're napping. Does that make sense? So let me make the forage roll. Or does that mess with what you wanted to do?
No, not at all. You go ahead.
I'm asleep.
Yeah, I'm going to leave you asleep and vulnerable while I go foraging. Yeah, and I wonder what. Yeah, okay, fine. I'm gonna go do that. Why not?
Let's do your foraging.
Because you're not asleep. You're an elf. You're in a trance. So like, this, you're fine.
An exhausted trance. Where he rolls every check at disadvantage. I totally agree. You go. Let's resolve. Let's see what you forage then.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go far.
Well, do me 2 things then. Do a nature check to see what, how much you forage. And I'm going to say DC 12 or above to get a decent enough meal.
18.
18, you get a very nice meal. Full portions for you, and you can leave one out. Dr. Vernicula, can you also make me a perception check, though?
I'd like to cast guidance on myself before I make this check.
It's not a bad idea.
13.
13. Yep. You don't hear anything. Everything's fine. It's just the kind of the quite... I don't think evening or dusk is your favourite time of the day. I think it's just like absolute pitch night. But I think at least maybe the anxieties that come with the day start to kind of flow away from you as the sun sets. And so, yeah, I think being by yourself is Wilkie, is she happiest by herself, or does she
Yes.
like company? Yeah.
No, she's a lone creature by nature. I think she finds Funicular, even though they didn't really speak all day, she finds it exhausting to be with him. And not especially just him, but to be exhausted, to be with someone and to have to think about their needs or think about what they need. And she's used to just doing what she wants to do when she wants to do it. Because what she normally wants to do is just either look at the stars or read under a tree or some shit. And having other people, and other people judge her for that, because they think she should be more social and she should hang out with people more, and she doesn't want to. And so she enjoys being away from other people's expectations of what she should do and how she should behave. So she is much happier when he suggests that he's going to have a nap. She's more than happy with that. She's like, yeah, yes, you should. Yes, definitely. Can't have you getting too tired. She's nice to him about it because she really wants rid of him. And so she takes the opportunity to go into the woods because she likes the idea of nature, even if she's not all that experienced in it, in this dangerous form. She's used to her father's cultivated estates, perhaps, but she so she knows her way around a wood and knows how to forage. She's got that nature knowledge. So I think, yeah, she's as content as she can be in the circumstances as dusk falls. And she can never shake that small sense of anticipation when night falls as well. That kind of excitement. Is it going to be a clear night? What will I see tonight? That kind of thing. So yeah, she's okay.
I think by the time you get back to camp, because I think, yes, you're foraging, but again, I think you're just enjoying and taking your time and,
possibly a bit complacent about danger as a result.
Yeah, possibly. But you return back to camp and camp is as you left it. Funicular is, I'm imagining, kind of collapsed in a somewhat awkward kind of pose on the ground, and the wagons there and the goats, I imagine, you kind of take out and they're just kind of chewing cud and grass and stuff like that. But yeah, you get back to camp. You've probably got another couple of hours or so before Funicular's done with his 4-hour long rest, if you're going to leave him undisturbed for that time. And yeah, you just you watch the first stars kind of light up in the sky as the sun sets. A couple hours pass. You start to feel a little bit tired. Like it was a decent hike today, so it's probably about time that you got some shut eye, I would say. You wait for Funicular.
Yes, it's your turn at watch. I've left you some food.
Great. Oh God, I feel so much better after that. Thanks. Yeah, great. You've eaten.
Yes. I've eaten. I've left you both out a portion. I think I'll turn in. I think.
I was thinking, not too bothered, but why don't we do a bit more at night? I was thinking, to be honest, I'm more comfortable in the darkness, where we can keep ourselves a little more hidden, and you can use the stars to help us navigate. That skill is somewhat wasted in the day You agree. So I just thought maybe if you get some rest now,
Yes,
we can get going while it's still dark. I mean, I
that seems wise. Yes, it seems wise. I'm tired now though. So
yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying like we should stop now until tomorrow night, but just kind of get your 4 hours, and we'll still have some darkness to begin the next leg on.
yes, good suggestion. I think I'll turn in.
Okay. Nighty night.
I think
So
on that,
because what you said before was that when I fell asleep, it was getting dark, right? Like it was, and this, I think what I'm kind of thinking is that we'd be able to get going. Well, it was sort of really, really early morning, right? Is kind of what I'm thinking in terms of time, like still, 2, 3, 4 a.m. kind of thing, rather than wait until sunrise. And I think he's just proposing that they can make a bit of a start that way.
Good idea. And I've just had to kind of sketch out like sunset and sunrise times on my days here, and have to think about that, because this is a very smart thing. And I think navigating it during the night will be interesting, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. But I kind of want to pull on that thread because you said the start is a bit different, so I think that's worth pulling on.
I like it.
Great. So I think he goes and checks on his son. I think, that's what he does.
Does he? Like tarpaulin? What's he covered in?
A shroud.
I think a shroud. I think actually like a properly decorated piece of embroidered kind of cloth. I think like it's something of an heirloom. I don't know whether it's been brought by Funicular or by Wilkie, but I think
I know
it's a piece of finery. Anyway,
okay. Do you
it
draw
serves
it back?
both a practical and a purpose, but also a kind of sense of wealth and status.
Nice. And while you sit with your son, do you leave him covered? Do you draw it back? You did have a glance at his wounds.
Yeah, I think again he summons the strength to try and examine his son a little more, to see if he could do anything to help, like there's any bit of him that might need treating. Because I'm not quite sure where you stand on this, but like Revivify brings somebody back from the dead, correct? In theory, right? Turns them to life. But if they've been fairly badly injured, they're going to still need some healing, right? I don't think it's like a kind of Wolverine style full regeneration, unless you do. You do. It brings you fully back to kind of.
I think it probably brings you back, and I'll read up on it. But I would say part of Revivify is not just the bringing back of the spirit, but the healing of the body. I think the two kind of
but you come back with full hit points on a Revivify spell.
I'll read up what's actually written, but we're still about 8.5 days out, so I've got time.
I just mean I think he would tend. I think he would try and tend the wounds if there was.
And I think he'd do that irregardless, because if you remember, you were both summoned here in an absolute hurry. And again, I think whoever found the body made a kind of hasty attempt to at least clean the wound, because like we said, it is a very big gash across his upper abdomen and onto his chest. And so I think to build on that slightly, to introduce a detail into what happened before, not just the what is happening afterwards. I think in this situation,
he has essentially had a kind of on the event of my death kind of note about his person, right? Like, so that somewhere on him, Lorcan had a note that was like, if
you wouldn't know
happens,
that, would you, though? Because you're an estranged father. I mean, you
he
can
writes me all the time. But no, I just mean for him, that he would have something, not a note for me to read, a practical one. So that was the means by which we were contacted. Does that make sense? So like we were brought here. So there's something that says like, if this happens, here's my emergency contact number kind of thing.
He's got
right?
I like to think he signed a waiver.
Repose on him, and then they've gone, right, okay, I'm calling these two numbers basically, and they are us. Right. And like, I think I didn't pick up the first time. So they called mum as well, you know, and then eventually the message got through to me. And that's how we've both arrived in this situation to help him. But that's what I meant by to just put a note on why maybe the person who cast Gentle Repose isn't still here, or how it is we've been contacted, unless you feel differently about this, Cole. But I think that sort of practically is just a means of like, we were contacted about this, and now we're here to deal with it. There's a
couple of threads there I do want to hold on.
There's more detail to add there, certainly.
Yeah.
But just a means of like, we weren't with him when he fell, and we both said we arrived, and I think we were called. You know, this is, I don't want to get too Rosencrantz and Guildenstern about it, you know, but that we were summoned, and yeah, that's kind of, I just meant that as a little detail. So I think he's now here, and he hasn't been around, and he's sort of tending to it. But I think as well, like I said before, I think he's still unsettled by what it is that has done this, because whatever did it we haven't established that whatever did it was killed.
Sure.
So I think there's a part of him that is concerned about what may yet be out there.
Fair.
Part of that.
Fair.
Yeah.
And could you just make me a general... Actually, what's your passive perception?
What page is that on? What would it be?
It's
13.
usually on the front cover. 13's all right. But are you... Because you're essentially on vigil right now.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like you're quite preoccupied with the body of your son rather than actively listing out for danger.
But I think it's a bit of both. I think because I think part of his preoccupation is this concern about what might be out there. So I think there's a part of him that's like keeping an eye, and I think the goats as well would have a sort of natural kind of if they picked up on something, you know. And I think I think he's sort of just is keeping his eye on stuff, but he's also having a look at his.
Go on then, make me a perception roll then.
Nat 20.
God, right. Yeah, okay. Nat 30. Nat 20, like you hear every twig that snaps, every kind of leaf that blows, everything. You are again this goes back to your entire day as being, you do feel quite attuned to this place. And I think for a number of reasons now, you've felt connected to this.
Is that your alarm?
It is, yeah. We'll do it in a minute. You feel quite connected to this place. This is a place of kind of myth and mystery, and it's one that you've been quite interested in. And now that you're here, and with all the turmoil that's led to you getting here, you are starting to find yourself tuned into the place. And with that, the 4-hour part of the night passes without incident. I'm just going to have a little look. Just going to go up.
Why don't we pause this recording and we'll come back to it. Let me stop.
End of part 1. Thank you, Craig. And so you wake up and immediately you wake up in a better mood than you've woken up the past 2 mornings, because it's still, the stars are still out and it's night time, and you get up and you can kind of make sense of the sky ahead of you. Are there any particular constellations or anything that you see, that you recognize? Again, we talked about this being a different part of the world from where you're used to, but I mean, it's a similar. There's still pattern
The
there.
constellations are still there. You can look up and you can see, like they're there. Kids Float, Graz Club. They're all there. Wilkie's favourite, obviously, is Dunmore Staff.
Which flute? Is that a really big constellation?
It's one of the smaller ones, actually.
Nice.
And they're travelling by Dunmore Staff, which is the direction they're going by. And they are the constellations. The moons are not full tonight. There's 2 moons that travel around Gorgonia, and they're not full. They whatever way it works, there is a time, like, I don't know, once every 3 months or something, when they're both full at the same time. And they call that the Gorgon Stare. And it's reputed to be bad luck on those nights to look into those 2 moons. But that's not tonight. That might be I have a funny feeling that's going to be 6 days away. But yeah, she knows that. So that's how we're traveling. That's the stars by which we're navigating our journey. And I think as they're sat up on the cart together, side by side, Wilkie asks, Dr. Nic. Hi, Dr. Nic. A question that's been bothering her, not about him, about this situation. And she said, no. She says, if he was an adventurer, where was his party then? Because when I got there, it was just a priest. Where were his friends? If he was an adventurer, where were the rest of his party? Where were they? Did they just leave him? Did they just run away? Do you know who he was with? He must have told you.
Yeah. Yeah, of course he did. They died before he did. I think he was the last. Him and the priest were the last ones, I think.
So it was a total party kill,
excepting the priest. That's why you have a cleric, isn't it? Along in these situations.
I guess.
Although not a very good one. Because he didn't have any diamonds on him either.
No.
So
I wonder, are their parents somewhere out here with a cart?
No.
Shall we all meet
I don't
at the
think
cave?
So, because from my careful reading of his letters, I'm not sure his adventuring party was. How shall I put this? As well connected in their bloodline as our boy.
Were they poor?
I mean,
he did it. He always enjoyed slamming
so.
it a little bit. Look, and that did
we
got that from you.
I mean, I love it. Never wanted to be too
Just look at your
snooty
next
about the
newest
company
wife.
that I kept.
No one
Thank
can
you.
ever accuse
Thank
you
you.
of that, my dear.
A man of many peoples. And yeah, I think being an adventurer is much more of a ladder that you climb. It's not you're born in at this level. You sort of start at the bottom, like almost like kind of level 1, and then you work your way up. So yes,
gain
gain
experience.
experience, and that's like your currency, I suppose. And you move up through that. So his company was, by the sounds of it, a little bit level 1, sort of level, yeah. But you and I would be higher than that, So
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of where it's at.
So they all died. All of his party. Was there many of them in this party? How many were with him?
I think there were definitely less than 5 or 6. Yeah, there was two.
Can I roll insight
Luke,
to see whether I know?
Chris, can you roll either, and don't tell us, persuasion or deception based on what you're like? Are you being honest here or not? But versus insight here.
Yep.
Oh, and don't forget, Wilkie, that you also picked up inspiration for the naming of the constellations of Kit's flute, because 3 years on, it seems that we're finally ready to laugh at it. It's been a few little attempts.
For my insight check, I rolled 18 plus 2, which is a total of 20.
For your deception or persuasion, do you beat a 20?
I'm on 23.
Come on. But I think it's almost, you have a natural doubt of your ex-husband, but I think this is, you're so eager for information about your son's final few hours that you're a little bit more susceptible.
Go on, Luke. He sounds like a brigand.
Go on, Luke. Yeah. And then there was a halfling. I believe they gave him the nickname Shortstop. Yeah.
Incredible. Please tell me they didn't give our boy a fearful moniker like that.
No, not that he confided in me with.
No, I suppose he wouldn't, would he?
Yeah. Good with a bow. Good with a bow,
Look
our
at the
boy.
terrible or something.
That's what he told me he'd worked on. And I thought, at least then he'd more likely keep his distance. Encourage the bow.
Yes, quite.
In my my many replies.
Quite.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not with that.
No, go on.
Sorry,
no, go on. You keep going.
That, as you kind of zone out a little bit, and your focus shifts to Dunmore's staff, kind of, and again, the constellation almost directs you where you were going. I think it's probably. I mean, it's at night, but I guess you're both elves, so I don't assume. In fact, that wouldn't affect your perception so much as aid it, would it? I mean, if you've got the stars out.
Yeah, it would aid our navigation, I would think.
And I think it would give
Okay.
us like,
We're gonna have
I've
to-
got that kind of one with the shadows thing. So like, if we feel like there may be anything there, I think I would jump down from the wagon and scout out, almost invisible in the darkness, and then return.
Okay.
You know, I think we would. My role would be to be on the wagon and then dart off occasionally and check anything that seems suspicious, whilst
Okay.
Wilkie is at home on the wagon.
So I'm going to say then, while you travel, any travel that you make before sunrise, I'm going to say you can roll with advantage, but I'm going to up the DC of fucking up so that you probably should do well. You've got the stars to guide you, that's it. But your eyes are in the sky.
Yeah.
Rather than ahead of you. So if you do fuck
We should
up,
do
it's
better,
worse.
but if we go badly, yeah.
But
I'm with
you're
you.
probably fine. It'll go worse.
Because it's night time in a forest, that makes sense.
Yeah. So the first thing again at the start of the third day is your pace,
still
please.
Fast. Yeah.
To the metal.
Yeah, absolutely fair. Now again, we didn't do this on the last one, so we'll definitely do it here. Of course, you get a -5 penalty to your perception roll, but you roll with advantage. But the DC for fucking up is going up to 7. So,
Is
with
there
advantage,
anything we can do with our abilities to add to our perception roll?
talk me through 'em. What
So,
abilities do you have that would aid your perception?
I've got the spell Find Familiar.
Okay.
So I think for Wilkie, being with the stars and the night thing, that familiar would be a bat that she sends out to kind of echolocate the way and help us navigate the forest trail.
Okay.
So any big obstacles or big things that would ping up on the bat's radar, she could kind of come back and tell us.
Okay. I'm going to need you to do me a favor though. With Find Familiar, what are the materials that you need to cast that? And do you cast it as a ritual?
I don't need any
Ah,
materials. It's part of my.
it's part of you.
Truity. It's my,
Well,
yeah.
then,
it's
fair.
part
Well,
of me.
then, great. Okay, so you've got a bat doing echolocation sweeps. You've got what's your thing?
I am
Finiti-
imperceptible. I'm essentially invisible when in shadow.
I wish.
Stop talking.
And you're kind of
and
scouting
also
ahead,
if
right?
there is anything that would be of concern, so if we pick up on anything, I can go check. So we're better. Yeah, we're better placed to scout things out. Anything that's a bit unsettling, we can check it out quicker.
You all right? Advantage on perception checks. I'll bring the DC back down to about a 5.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's still -5 because you're going fast. But you've got advantage. Okay. So, make your roll, please.
Who's rolling perception? Am I doing it? My turn.
I think it's you. You're going by starlight. You're going by stars, so it's you.
16 plus 5, 21.
16 plus 5. So +5.
Plus 5.
That's what you've got. Okay. And then -5 brings you back down to 16 because you're going fast. But 16 is still, again, you are traveling not only the expected distance, but again, a plus D6 on your travel for that
I
day.
think you're the eyes on the sky and
So
I'm the
roll
eyes
with
on the
the
ground. Do you see what I mean? Like, I think we're kind of working in partnership.
I rolled a 3 on my extra D6.
Okay. I think after 8 hours of travel and another 33 miles put off, I think actually there's a little bit of almost begrudging respect in the kind of teamwork that you two are pulling out here. Again, you've got the skies covered, all the kind of hidden shadows are covered, and it goes very, very smoothly. Again, you've covered 8 hours. Again, you set off early, so it's barely, I think it's around about midday, but you are at the point now where pushing on without a rest will exhaust you. Do you push on for another hour, see how it goes?
That would be another constitution roll, right?
It would. It would.
By my calculations,
push on.
We've got about 75 miles left.
By mine, you've got 70.
I'll
take the 75.
Oh no, I think. Well, we did 26 on the first day.
You're making
36 on the second day.
31. I had it, but
it was 31, but then we added a bit more on, or something.
I think you added one. 30's how far you travel on a fast-paced day. I'm pretty sure you rolled a 1.
Yeah, but then we pushed on for an extra hour.
Correct? Yeah. Then you did,
yeah.
And I gave you 5 for that as well. You're quite right. Or maybe that's 170 then.
And then today, we've done another 35.
Correct.
So we were on 139 at the start.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have gone down to 103, wouldn't we? And then we've done another 35 off that. So actually, 68.
68.
I guess what I'm saying is that we would seem to have.
You're
making a good pace.
Really good
We've
pace.
got about 2 more days of travel to do,
really
I think, at this pace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unless things get a little trickier.
Again,
remember that you both know
it gets worse later on.
Yeah.
And how many days do we have on gentle repose?
So you're down now to about. This is your third day of travel, yeah? But we're still quite early because you've got that 4-hour thing. So you're kind of bringing things back a little bit there. So I think on you've only I'd say you're about down to 196 hours, give or take. Because you haven't had your full third day yet.
We're at
you're
midday.
Only about midday one.
And we could rest now and get
day.
To like the equivalent of like 8 p.m.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say, although both of you are absolutely happy to take 4 hours rest and hit it again, 4 hours rest and hit it again, what you do notice is your goats look pretty fucked. So I think you're ready to push on.
But goats
you had to go goats, didn't you? Could have had one of them big ones with the flares. Your goats are looking pretty fucking knackered here, and you run the danger now of me doing exhaustion checks.
You run the danger
not
as ever of you doing nasty things to our goats. Yes. A relationship built on don't fuck our goats, Nathan.
So it's midday, and you two are, I would say, are ready to push on, but you're going like that, and they're pretty done. So if you push on, fine, but we're now going to start rolling exhaustion on your goats. What would you like to do? I'm also going to say, I don't think you can take a long rest, although you talk me through it again. You've been traveling for 8 hours. You've got to make camp, stuff like that. You have got your provisions. But you tell me what you want to do. It's midday on the third day.
Well, the goats need a break, so we got to give the goats a break. That's that. We've got enough food, have we, or do we need more food?
You've still got your 4 provisions. You've successfully kind of gathered the last
thing
couple
is,
of
though,
days. But
the only thing I'd say
want,
about our goats, right, is that a long rest in D&D is 8 hours, and they get 8 hours. We don't. We get 4 and 4,
but they're still.
So I don't. What I mean is, I don't think we need to.
But they're still. Their circadian rhythm is quite sun based, I'd say. So that you're kind of like they're jet lagged basically because they're you're waking them up at all hours and they're like.
From now on, we're going to blinker our goats.
So
like
you've
do
got
like stagecoach horses, so that they have no sense of what time it is.
Absolutely.
Or I just cast light above them.
I'd say on.
I've got one of those lamps.
Guantanamo Bay kind of
like
fucking
gives them the right vitamins. I think we can give them a break and then set off again at about midnight. Like I think we can go. That would be 12 hours. Yeah. So I think we could do. So I actually think we have a break, but also we turn our attentions to maybe trying to stock up a bit. Like doing some decent hunting in that time, gaining more provisions, scouting out the land a bit, like actually gathering information while the goats get some additional shut eye.
It's going to get more dangerous
and sustenance
to do that later on.
So we're going to say this next bit is a 12-hour period. You have been traveling yourself, so. Do you also take your long rests in that period? Right.
So that would give us 4 hours rest each and then 4 hours left to give our goats a good massage. I would happily oblige and then do some hunting and some gathering.
Can you make an animal handling check on your goat massage, please?
Was no modifier on this.
This is less than a 5.
Say it's just a straight roll.
Less than a 5. Yeah, go on.
12.
I would have sprained your goat's leg on a 5 or less. It's fine. Give them a good rub down. They seem open to it. They're okay now.
Press their hooves.
They're all right.
Like good. If you need anything doing there.
Sure. Sure. Pick out a few pebbles from them, all that kind of stuff. That's grand. And you're looking
a little
to
bit,
stock up as
that's
well,
what I was thinking. Was could we, while we're in this area where resources are less competitive, maybe we can stock up a bit. I mean, if you want, Nathan, you could flick over to a different book that you wrote for a moment. Yeah.
I've got it with me, don't worry. I mean, I'd say if you've had a rest, you've actually probably got the energy to actual hunt. If that's what you're going like for a bit of game this time rather than a gather. I mean, if you are, I'll just flip over to Adventure 4. Hunting it is. This has gone terribly for you in the past, so grand. Where are we going?
Is any record of that? So you can't say
the bit going horrible. There's a record for. It's just the amazing climax that is probably the greatest bit of roleplay you've ever done. That I forgot to.
Well, the moment with your 1 hit point was incredible.
Go on then. It was stunning. Go on then. Take a look around. Give me a perception check. If you actually find the fucking board.
18.
18. beast ahead. Go to the hunting table. So you're tracking a beast. Roll a d8 for me, please.
3.
3. All right. I'm just gonna have to get some tokens out here. If you'd like to position yourself, are you by your did you call Wilkie over at all, or are you just hunting solo?
I think that's probably a question for Wilkie to an extent. But I think depending a little bit on what the animal is that I discover.
Well, you see something that looks like. Can you roll a d4 for me, please?
Certainly. 4.
It would.
You see a family of 4 boars, kind of rummaging and snotting around.
It's like being back at the in-laws.
What would you like to do?
Kill the pig, cut its throat, spill its blood.
Kill it. Do you call your wife over, or are you happy to go in for the kill yourself?
Can I make a roll on that? Like, can I make a roll on how easy it would be to include her in this? Do you know what I mean? Like whether I've discovered them nearby. Like, I can cast message, so I can communicate with her telepathically, but like how close we are to the wagon to involve her without it leading us to venture too far away from the body.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel logical or in character for it to venture too far away from the wagon. But if it's nearby, then yeah, she would definitely be involved. Be very careless.
Could I roll a d20, but it almost be the opposite, right? The lower I roll, the closer we are. Or you could say whatever I roll is taken away from a number. Does that make sense? So if the high still remains the good number and the low still remains the bad number.
All right, I think you are. What should we say? 2d20 feet away from camp. So roll 2d20. And if you're all really low, then you're really close. And if you roll like 40, then you're 40 feet away.
18 in total.
Perhaps. 18 in total. You with it, you probably can whisper. You're closer to her than you are the boars.
Message. All right.
Yep.
Hey there. I found some pigs. I reckon would make some good supplies. Fancy helping me out up here? Over.
How do you respond?
Wilkie says, she bites back a retort when you say pigs. You found some pigs, and she just says, she says back to him, yes, on the way. And then she kind of jokes to herself, can't believe he brought his wife. And then walks.
Nice. I made a joke about them being like your family. You're in my in-laws, and you made a joke about how they're that. Nice. We're both chuckling at ourselves.
All right.
What are you laughing at?
What are you laughing at?
Whilst you're both chuckling, Wilkie, where is it you'd like to position yourself, please?
Oh, there they are.
Yeah, a bit there.
Yeah, I see them now. Sorry, I thought they were going to be over here, so I'm going to kind of be.
Can you both make a stealth check for me, please?
Absolutely, darling.
Let's see if you got. Thank you, my love. Is it? It's not really telling me what its passive perception is. Tell me what you both got, and hopefully they were
13.
Decent.
Ooh. I've used my inspiration, and I got 10.
10.
You're laughing too much.
Hang on.
You should get there, and one of them actually does look like my current latest drive.
Oh, well, not to be all meta and stuff, and you wouldn't know this, but a boar's passive perception is 9. So, as clumsy as you are, you're still better than a stupid boar. So I'm saying, not that surprise rounds exist anymore, but can we roll for initiative first, and then you'll, wherever you are...
Do you want us to do this in Fantasy Grounds? Because it will automatically update. But you can just put the number in.
Can do. Or I can just do this pen and paper style. Yeah. Fancy Grounds to say, but like, call it out.
Right, my roll is...
Well, you've got a HP as
22.
0 at this point. You become the shadow.
It won't add my skills to it, is the only thing.
Okay. I mean, like, just, yeah, it's fine. And it's not going to be an issue. I just want it on the end.
Plus, what's your dex modifier?
50. That's...
There you go, 18.
Plus 3.
Yeah, all right. It's still going to be in the same order. All right. So I'm going to give you a surprise round as well. Old rules, I guess. But you're in position. What is it that you do to start us off, please? And we're starting with you, Dr. Jungfrau.
Hang on. Okay. I'm going to...
Cast guidance on you before this.
I didn't say it works on skills, though. Yeah.
What does it? Never mind. I let it that out.
Okay.
Probably not.
I think I think only fools rush in, right?
Sure.
I think he's gonna run in. Check what this does. I think he kind of needs to throw his sword around a bit. So I think he's going to run at this one here. I know it says 55 feet on your Fantasy Grounds, but it's not. He's going to run there.
Absolutely.
He's going
run
to
ahead.
Bonus action Hexblade's Curse this ball. Okay.
Fine. Kind of overkill. But...
So yeah. And then he's going to Booming Blade as well. Yep.
No, these are boars, right?
Ooh.
Somebody's trying to impress his ex-wife. That's a 26. Let me just check. Yes, a 26 hits. This poor... I think you've got the runt of the litter as well. I think you've expended Booming Blade and Hexblade on the little one with a little lame leg. What's your damage there, sir?
14.
14. How do you want to do this?
I think he just runs, and I think the thing is, because he can summon his sword midair. I think there's this moment where he looks like an absolute buffoon. Like he reaches for a sword that isn't there and brings it down to like stab this boar, and to Wilkie, it looks like he's forgotten to hold on to the sword. But at the last minute, the sword appears in his hand, and it just passes straight through the head of this boar, and then the head rolls off down a little bit and then explodes with the like booming blade. So like the pig remains intact, but the head just goes like this in the distance. And
can you roll me a d4? I want to see which
head goes.
way it rolls, and if it rolls a 4, it goes right at your ex-wife and explodes all over her.
That's a 4. So you just got
4.
What do you call a pig's head? Brawn? Is like pig's head's a thing, isn't it? That you can eat. Yeah,
is
brawn? I think it is. So yeah, you got pig's head.
I'll go with that.
My ex-wife's, my current wife's looking head just exploded at you, and yeah, one pig down.
There you go. Wilkie, you've just invented the movie Carrie, I think, and it's your go. Pig's blood all over you. Just
I really, yeah, I was going to make a joke. I'm not going to make that joke. Sorry.
Oh,
it's dead.
we're recording. Killed the first one.
All right, and I'll do what I was going to do. I will. I'm going to cast Thorn Whip on the one closest to me and try and lasso it in. Let's see. So I need to make a melee spell attack. So it's going to be a +5. 15.
15 certainly hits.
So I'm going to do 2d6 worth of damage, and it's going to be pulled 10 feet closer. So that's 7 piercing damage to the pig.
7 hurts it. It's this one here. Yeah, it's this little piggy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Doesn't know what's happening at all.
No, and I think as well, I move the remaining 10 feet so that I'm kind of standing over it, ready to finish it off.
You sort of move in. Love it.
Yeah. Covered in blood.
Oh, you look like some kind of vengeful spirit, covered in the blood of its child. Ironically, the child dead. Mother versus mother going on to the south there. Well, I'm giving you that as a surprise round. So now we go to top of initiative order, which is of course you,
Yeah,
Dr.
and
Funicular.
I'm going to
brave butcher of boars.
Right. I have a question for someone who has been a warlock, and I have not. Right. When you cast Eldritch Blast at 5th level, it says 2 beams.
Oof.
Does that? Can you hit 2 things? But with 1 attack roll?
I never made it to 5th level. If I was brutally
I
cut
figured
down
it was just
prime.
2 beams on 1 target, like more damage on a target.
You can. It's kind of like it's like Scorching Ray, isn't it? You can pick out your targets.
Right.
When you look it up on the internet, I see you do that. By the way, like.
Okay. I didn't look it up.
Glasses.
I was just flicking between my Fantasy Grounds and here.
Fair enough.
Looks like he's watching the snook.
Funny because
your beams go as they would.
Okay, so I'm gonna. I'm playing a warlock. You've got an Eldritch Blast right at some point.
Sure,
I also didn't make my extra attack last turn. What an idiot! That's what I should do.
If there was a sport you could watch sneakily while playing D&D on a different screen, it would be snooker, wouldn't it?
Oh, do I want to do that? Yeah, let's do that. Let's have an Eldritch Blast.
I would like to. I know we've done it before, where you've been watching Liverpool, Nathan, at the same
Is a
time.
13 a hit?
I'd like to do that again.
Okay.
13 hits. Sorry, Cole.
I'd like to do that again, but every time you say something like while watching the match, your character says it in D&D for real. That'd be fun.
That's good. There's an Office episode where Jim and Pam have Bluetooth on all day, and they're having conversations
Yes.
with each other. But each thing they say is everyone's reacting to. You've taken 2 shots at the same at Daddy
Oh, no, I
Pig,
took
I'm
2
gonna
shots at
say.
one at bore 1,
Yeah?
one at bore 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're
And
splitting.
they both took
All right, that's
5 damage, but they should have taken 9 damage because it should add my charisma modifier on.
okay. And you are charismatic. 9 damage hurts them both, but they're still there or thereabouts. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah.
You've got movement if you choose.
Uh,
They're looking like that Eldritch Blast, like hurt them both.
yeah. I think he'll
Um,
swing round here just a little bit.
What would you like to? Okay. We go back to Wilkie. It's mother versus mother. You've got a thorn whipped. I think yours continues fluidly. Your next move, because you've got this thorn whipped ball you're dragging towards you as you move forward.
God, I
think
know
it
how that
flows
feels.
straight into this.
I think she gets a staff out and tries to brain it on the buns.
Brain away.
Yeah. 13.
13 hits.
Excellent. And she's going to swing at it two-handed. 5 points of damage.
5 finishes it off. How do you want to kill
this? Yeah, so this is a druid we're talking about here who is a nature person. So I think she approaches the boar whispering calming words and phrases, and this is not really killing it, kind of like putting it down, and I think thanking the spirits of the forest for their offering and for their sacrifice, and kind of reassuring them that it's worthwhile and all these other things. And you're like an acrobatics down the back, and she's just kind of stroking this pig quietly, and then a little bit like Anton Chigurh in No Country for Old Men, she just kind of like takes the end of the staff and just like thunk right in the center of its forehead.
I'd always associate with this. You mean caring?
No, but the same way you might put down a cow, that's what he uses as a thing for killing cows. So she kind of does that with it. She kind of, bonks it right in the center of its brain and puts it to sleep. And thanks the spirits of the forest for their bounty. And she kind of, and as she looks up, and you're just like spinning and pirouetting.
He's literally
in the air,
jumping through the air, firing off 2 guns.
And she looks down at herself, and she's just covered in blood, and she's like,
So we go back to ball 1, who is damaged. You hit it for it was what's your charisma? +3. Nice. So it should be 9. Okay. And it's I think it's going to charge you. It's absolutely going to charge you. It's going to gore attack you. So it kind of runs for bang, and it gets advantage on its roll because it's bloodied. It's got bloodied furied. And so it rolls. Pardon me, I'm going to roll for reals. 17 or 30? Does 17 hit?
But I'm going to cast shield as my reaction.
All right. Shield you. So again, this incense ball runs on and goes to gore you and knows everything, and then just this kind of shimmer of arcane energy blocks it, frustrating it beyond belief. Boar 2 does the same thing, charges directly at you, and bang again. With advantage.
Yeah.
Shield's still up, though,
turn.
isn't it? For natural 5 on that, and 2 5s on advantage. Nothing doing. We are all the way back to you.
And I think he's just gonna swing his sword, I think, at the pair of them. Ooh.
Hits it. 16 hits. 9.
Another 9.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And then on the other one, because he's gets an extra attack as his invocation. Oh yeah,
That'll do it too.
Another 7.
No, but that will do it because it hasn't added your 4 from before. So
I think he just again takes his sword. He's like,
talk me through it.
And again, just kills these 2 boars. But I think there's a part of this which is also, it is literally overkill in so many ways.
Yeah.
But I think part of this for him is it is kind of clearing the dust off, right? Like it's getting himself battle ready again, practicing his moves, and I think reconnecting with his, like, rebloodying his blade, right? Like that's actually an important part of kind of being a hexblade, right? Is that, and his connection with his weapon and the need for his weapon to taste blood, to be killing, is important to kind of his whole therapy that he offers weapons. So I think this is over the top and excessive and childish, but it's in his mind as much preparation for what lies ahead as reading the stars or, getting provisions.
Four boars down. Who's going to strip him for meat then? Who's going to?
I think I would allow that. I think. What would you feel about this, Wilkie?
Allow's an interesting word.
I think Wilkie is dressing the boar she's killed while you're fannying around with the other 3.
We'll but I think I would ask you for advice. I'm not beyond that. Like, I think I would be like, okay, well, you do your 1 and I'll do 3. That's fine. But, like, and I think it wouldn't be his first time hunting, but I think asking.
I think you should have made a ranger. You asked me for advice, so
what am I rolling? DM?
Sorry.
Animal handling.
Just a straight roll, I think. Yep. 13.
Decent. Quite impressive, really, considering this is not one of your many specialties.
I would argue survival for me. Can I argue survival?
Of course.
Survival? Slightly better at survival. Oh, gosh. 13. I'm out of practice.
You are. And despite the fact that you're more adept at this, what the portions you take from your 1 boar is exactly the same as Dr. Funicular takes from each of his boars. But I'm going to say that you now have 13. I'll give you 2. You've got an additional 8 portions of boar meat to last you. Now, help me work out. Oh, please.
I cast Entangle on the portions of meat to wrap them in kind of vine leaves. And also, because I say to Funicular, I say, no, not on the wagon, not with Lorcan. He will not lie with pig meat. Tie it to the back of the wagon. She entangles it in vines, so it hangs off the back rather than lies next to him. She doesn't want the pig meat to go near his body.
Nice.
Not next to Lorcan. Hang it from the back.
Fairly sure you've still got an inspiration from me, but if you haven't, take it
Used
right
every
back.
single. I will take them. Thank you.
You might as well, yeah. Just keep using them because you're getting right back. What time is it in
Midnight.
Game World? Because I think you didn't.
By
It's
the end of all
midnight
of this
now, isn't it?
faffing,
This is what you're doing while the
hunting,
goats,
resting,
right?
eating, all that shenanigans would take us to midnight.
All that take you to midnight, where you're pretty much ready to set out again. Because you've also taken your rests at this time, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to ask, I think we're approaching midnight in real time as well, so I'm going to ask for just one more moment, unless you want to push on, but I think this is a good time to bring it to a close. I'd say, again, in this kind of stretch between the mid-afternoon and midnight when you're ready to set out again, both of you do one more vigil with the body with your son. I'd argue, and again, tell me, Wilkie would probably want to go like when the stars are all up. So perhaps Dr. Vernacular would go first.
Sure.
Yeah. Then again, just make me one more perception roll, please.
12.
12. Yeah. Your shift passes without concern or issue.
Can I?
Yeah, you're fine.
Can
Sit
I
there with your
say
son.
what I talk about? So
Please
I think
do.
while he's keeping watch, now, I wonder what were you looking for out here? I know what I would have been looking for. I wonder if you were the same. Can't tell me, I suppose, but a rare elven blade may well have been what drew you guys out here. I wonder whether we couldn't finish your adventure together. Maybe not just get a diamond and bring you back, but find the sword of longing while we're at it. What do you say, my boy? Finish this adventure together. So I think he discussed, and then I can do more if you want, but I think we'll keep it as a bit of a trailer for more information to come. But I think that this idea of this legendary sword, the sword of longing, which is a long sword, and they're gonna, and he guesses that maybe that's what the adventurers were searching for. So he thinks maybe we can find that together.
Possibly.
It is a cursed. It's not a happy story associated with the sword, but it wouldn't be for Funicular.
No, of course not. Your vigil done. Take to your rest. Wilkie, the stars are up. You sit with your son.
She sits on the wagon. And she's got a water bottle in her hand. And there's a little bit left in the end of it. She's kind of drinking the end of it. She's kind of sloshing it around a little bit. She's just almost chatting to him, She says, not very liquid. He says, that's what your grandfather said. When I told him what had happened to you, and how we needed a diamond to bring you back. That's what he said to me. To my face. About my own son. He said, I'm not very liquid right now, darling. Can't spare any. Well, that's why we're out here, isn't it? Once again, beholden to another feckless man. Well, that won't be you, Lorcan. Not anymore. Once we bring you back, there'll be no more of this two-horned Luke. No. Take a proper trade. Go back to your studies. Back to university. Where you belong. Not hanging out with these adventurers. And then maybe you will be liquid enough to provide for your mother when she is in her dotage.
Two things, I think. I think the first thing is your hand again reaches for this pocket.
Mm.
Do you take out what's in the pocket, or do you just reach for it for reassurance that it's still there?
I think she takes it out, and it's a letter, and it's an envelope, and it's still sealed. She hasn't opened it, and I think on the front of the letter it just says, "Dad."
And if I may, you look up at the stars and you see again Dunmore's staff. Your favourite constellation, named after the legendary figure of Dunmore the Wise. A druid indeed. Probably the inspiration for your own studies. And a memory resurfaces, and I think it resurfaces when you look at this letter and it says Dad. And it's a memory of Lorcan when he was quite young, probably 6 or 7 or something like that. And of course, like any parent, you want to share the things that you love. And you take him up to the observatory at night, and you describe not just like the science behind the constellation and the positioning and the stars and the movements and the trajectories and all this, and that really appeals to you. But some of the stories of Dunmore the Wise and his staff and you know and his ideals. But Lorcan always wanted to know about the club. Always the weapons. Always his father's stories of adventure. And so, as you look both at the constellations in the sky and the letter that says Dad, I think any kind of reconciliation, almost revision of this man, this silly little man, and all the men in your life, your own father who couldn't spare a diamond. And it is not an easy 4 hours that you
And I
read.
think there's even a moment where she's got the diamond in one hand and she kind of does a little bit of magic where she kind of casts a little flame from her thumb, and she's got the two, and she almost brings it to the letter, and then doesn't, and puts it back in her pocket.
And that's how we will close tonight's story. Thank you very much. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, nice work.